This video I'm going to record, the topic was how did I meet my teacher, and his name is His Holiness Paramahamsa Nithyananda. And what was the sweetest thing I remember about my teacher? Um, I think I have explained this. I'm a clairvoyant, and I had lots of people in energy who I work with, and I cannot tell for sure, but I think in 2001, I had a very special encounter. I was in a fellowship in Mass General, and that time I had a special encounter with this being who came to me in energy and asked, "Can I join him?" And I was a little afraid, and I didn't. And actually, it was very interesting because when I saw Swarupa Priya's, Swarupa Priya's video, that's when I decided to put it on record, because before that I was not sure I really wanted to talk about. I mean, I have spoken about it, but I didn't want to put it. And this happened while I was awake. And in energy, it's not a speech; it's like more like a knowing. So I had this being that came and said, "Would you join me?" And I have my mother in energy who I work with. She had passed away. She died in 1997, March of 1997, and she works with an energy. So she's very protective of me. So I know, um, she guided me to read something about Anusuya. Anusuya is a saint who apparently had a husband who was pursuing spiritual studies, and even when God came, she accepted them only as a child. So my mom asked me to learn about this energy even before. She kind of like, I think, knew he was asking, and she gave me this insight. So I read about her. So when this being asked, "Would you join me?" the first thing was I was scared. So then the energy said, "Okay, we'll come back later." So he left. As soon as he left, and also I don't know whether it's male or female because in energy it's tough to say, but I felt an attraction, so I assumed it was a male. And then my son was in the crib, my eldest one. He was at that time only like, I think he was a baby, so he was probably 2.5 years. And my son immediately, my middle one at that time was like probably, I think maybe 8 months old or something. So my eldest one says, "Mom, I'm scared," and he was in the crib next to me, and I had the baby next to me. Even though I really wanted to fall asleep, I couldn't, because I had to hold my hand out to my baby, and that's when it allowed me to think, if in case somebody's scared and I'm not there to help them, what is the point of being in a spiritual path if I don't have like a person I can work with an energy? So I decided to accept him, and the minute my thinking came that I'll accept him, he came. He came back. So I said to him, "I'll accept him as my child." And that's when the whole roar of laughter I heard, and it was combined by multiple other beings. And that's when I realized he was not alone, which was very funny. But till that moment, I was thinking I was talking to only one being. So it was, then he started playing with me. The first song, uh, he played with me afterwards was, I'm coming home, so you better get the party started. It was so funny. It was hilarious. So I wrote my first poem, believe it or not, and I'm going to read it out. It went into Positive Anonymous 12-step program, and that's the reason for the poem too. And I didn't know who I was working with, by the way. When I look at your baby eyes, filled with trust and want to hold my hands because you're scared, I'm scared too. I instantly reach out and take your hand. With faith, I lift up my hand to hand me divine help as we ascend, believing we are healed. It was on page 21, page 11. And that's when it made more sense to me that for me to be the perfect being who people can hold their hand, so I'll bring them to the place where they need to go. And that felt like kind of my purpose too. And then my purpose of life fell into place, affirmation of purpose of life. And here it says, all the things others have chosen to do to make me get to this point in life is for me to hold out my hand, which fits the exact measurement of a baby hand that is waiting with faith to be healed. The reason I wrote that is my husband is in recovery, and I went through a lot of issues with my husband, not just him, me, like, working on my codependency, emotional, clingy status and stuff. And then that was followed by the third poem, which became affirmation to be a spiritual mirror, which is goddess. This is like according to the silversmith, goddess my silversmith, which like it's like if in case there's a version where goddess my silversmith. So a lady was asking, how do you know when the metal is refined? At this point, silversmith smiled and said, oh, that's easy. That's when I see my image in it. So then I wrote the third poem, which was affirmation to become a spiritual mirror, which is goddess my silversmith. I'm his spiritual mirror. So I'm anonymous, see only God in front of me. Whatever is said to me, I take this as a message from him. I honor all tasks given to me every day. I do this one day at a time. Page 14. And then I wrote to AA, and I made my own Positive Anonymous 12-step program. They allowed me to make my own PA 12-step program. And I started globalashram.org. My mission statement was resoluteness, which means whatever the issue is, know what is legally right. Judgment could be severe, balance it with what is morally fair. My goal was to stabilize families. My value was 12-step, and my project is to be a spiritual mirror. So this went on. I think we put it together. If I see the copyright, I don't know when it was published. It was published 2006, as you see. And we were accepted in Library of Congress. And we have an ISBN number. Then 2016 is I had a newer encounter. In January of 2016, I came across this pendant, which was in a Tibetan store. So I was looking at it, and it is a very ancient scripture. And when I came across this, when I touched it, my body went into an intense vibration, and I started doing I came across an energy, Ramana Maharishi, and I wanted to learn more about him. And also one of my friends was following Nithyananda, and I didn't see the connection. Seriously, I thought he was her cousin. For some reason, they thought They were family members. I didn't even connect him being a spiritual teacher. And and when I was reading about Ramana Maharshi, they said people randomly showed up in his space and started doing Rudra meditation. And I had wanted to start a meditation group for our Positive 12-step program, people in recovery, and we chose Rudra as our meditation because it had something called Rudra Gana, which used mathematical sequence to recite. So we started, that was Christmas wish of my patients in 2015 Christmas. So January, I put it together, and I think seriously we started our meditation end of January, beginning of February. But on January 26th is when I came across this, which was another affirmation because I was wondering whether that was the right meditation. So when I was listening to Rudra, when I put it in my heart, my whole body went into a very intense vibration. So I couldn't doubt it anymore. And then we decided to do 1 week meditation at a time. So we, on my YouTube channel, healnow.tv, initially we we were doing it in a way that didn't make sense, and eventually I forgot how it even happened, but somehow I got connected with Nithyananda again. And then through his website, I saw that they were doing Rudram with cleaning of hands, like, so how they do mudra and stuff. And one of his disciples, Nitya Raja Ananda, he was teaching the Gurukul kids, and I started following him, and I perfected my Rudra technique. And every Wednesday I made a commitment and I started doing it. And this freaked out my family because they wanted me to read up more about him, to get involved only after I learned. When I read up about him, I was appalled to see, seriously, I was appalled that how dare people talk about saints, because they say Rishi Moolam, Nadi Moolam doesn't exist, which means you never question the origin of Rishi or origin of a river, and it's considered sacred. And I felt how bashful we have become, how disrespectful as a culture, and I was totally offended on behalf of Nityananda and the Ma, who was also hurt. And I decided at that point, I'm going to personally go and make my apology to him. Because as a society, I felt I caused him to be in a prison that he doesn't deserve to be in. So I made a commitment to go see him and to really, show as a society that it's not acceptable. That's one reason. The second thing is, I was not really planning to go visit him, but I was watching one of his satsang, and he said it was very important to him that we meet in December. And it almost felt like he was very proud of what he's achieved so far, and he wanted to show off what he's done. And since I took him as an energy mother, I felt it is only appropriate I go and encourage him, in his journey. And I said, okay, I have to do this. And I really had to take some time off. My husband and my family, we were they were a little puzzled why I'm going out of blue. My husband was even commenting. He says, what is it you're still seeking? But it's not that. But I felt I couldn't explain it to my husband, so I don't think I really wanted to get involved with it. So I decided to have a fake fight with him and left him. Actually, the fight was regarding this what is it called? The chicken coop. I decided to take. I used to have a turtle, and he let it go. So I decided, you let the turtle go, so I am going to fight, and I'm going to go back to India. And he was surprised. But I think he kind of like, compromised in the end. So, also my work, Dr. Do was so nice. So he says, oh yeah, if you want to really go see, I said, I really have a teacher I wanted to respect and go see. So everything kind of fell into place. And I went to India. I found it initially very difficult to connect with Nityananda only because I fought all this when I was in India. The reason is my mom was very superstitious. And I feel very strongly if religion doesn't support my lifestyle now, I really don't want to be religious, but I really wanted to be there for Nityananda. I went there just for him. I didn't care about any other cause. But it looks like that was his vision. So I did live Indian lifestyle. I did do whatever he asked of me those 21 days in December of 2016. And he treated us really very, very nice. And I think I had few reservation, and then he finally, I think after a few days, um, forgot, maybe it was the fifth day, he entered my Hara Center. It's like I didn't even know there was something called Hara Center, by the way, and it was such a bliss. And I finally felt I don't need to carry all this weight for myself. I can really be a little kid in my heart, and we danced, and I, the whole thing changed because he really wanted nothing of me except to have fun in his presence, and I had really a great time. But still, I was little reserved until I think after the first 10 days, um, we finished the divine celebrations, which was the first 10 days, and then his birthday celebration started. And I always kept Rajananda as my compass because I kind of like, took guidance from him. When I met him in person, I told him, hey, uh, you have been very helpful to me. And he says, like, hey, I'm only uh, Guru 3G. You need to focus on Guru, ultimate G, UG, or life Guru, like who's our supreme Guru. And he was redirecting me, but it's still like, I kind of felt a little bit more comfortable talking to Rajananda. And I was hanging around to go back to my hotel in a bus. And I saw Swamiji and his priest alone in the Anandalinga space. It's called Vaidya Sarovar. That's like the sacred space where he holds his puja for Rudra. Oh, by the way, the Rudra vibrations was so, it almost felt like this blissful drunkenness I go to every day morning. It was amazing. The whole experience was amazing. So that's when I had a very special, sweetest encounter with Swamiji, I should say. So what happened was he was alone with his priest, and he was up like 4 stairs above, sitting. And then I was asking Rajendra, I said, is it worth missing my bus to stay over and spend time with Swamiji? He says, any moment you spend with Swamiji is worth it. He says. I said, okay, I'll take your word for it. I went and sat down. And then I think because of cash crisis, apparently the tepam, they call it tepam, where the float has to be made. The workers were saying they didn't have enough nails, so they couldn't complete it. So the float they could only complete very late at night, and they was not finished. So the Swamiji said, in that case, you guys finished by yourself. And they had one Gurukul kid who would work as a priest who will go around to replace Swamiji that night. So he came down the stairs and he stood right in front of me. And before that, like, I didn't even know he was observing me. And they had a deity in the tepam. And I asked the priest, I said, who is this? So I think he didn't answer. I assumed he didn't hear me. So I thought maybe he didn't hear me. So I said, Yaar is it? Like I was, assuming people don't hear me. And that's when I realized the priest like with reverence looked up, and that suddenly hit me. Swamiji was observing me. I didn't know that. So I looked up and he turned away. Then he came down and stood right in front of me, turned his back to me, and he kept talking to the staff, saying, "If there is a tepam, you guys go ahead. I am not going to be part of it," or something to that effect. I didn't pay attention because, like, I was like still in a state of awe, like, but I didn't know he could look at me from his back too. So he took for a little while, I think, trying to take me in, and then he left. Then I stayed over and I asked the staff, like, what was happening. The guys who were supposed to finish the poem, that's when I realized they didn't have the nails. They said they did everything they could. They couldn't bring it back to conclusion. So they finished it up. It took almost like 2 o'clock in the morning for them to finish. And then I could see, like, their whole lifestyle, their staff part, and the how they cleaned up the whole stairs for Anandalinga. So there was one Adinavashi who was finishing it, and then the little baby priest, Gurukul priest, and there was a North Indian Adinavasi priest who also went around taking pictures. So we were very few, I think probably, and Lakshman, the Adinavasi, the little kid. So I think we all hung around, and I really had a very nice session there. And that's when I truly could see, like, the amount of work Swamiji does, like, how much behind the scenes, like, step by step, how much effort he puts in. And I really, like, was deciding that minute I'll totally commit to him, whatever it takes. I'm never going to let him walk alone. And since he stood in front of me, just like in America, they say, like, air marshals travels with them in a flight, they say, "I got your back." So I decided at that point, I got his 12. And they say, I got your 6. And he got my 12, so to speak. So he is the person who's going to be flying us. It is the 12 o'clock position. And I got his 6, which means I got his back. And it kind of felt like a commitment I made that day. I decided to commit to stay with him. And when he revealed that when he reached the cliff point, that's when he takes off, I know I'm taking off with him because I know I got a 6. So that is my sweetest moment video. And then finally there was another dream I had just before I met him, actually. But I was still sharing this with my husband, the sweetest dream, because in the sweetest dream, I found I arrived at a destination, but I couldn't understand, but I woke up with tears in my eyes. And the gist of it, I shared with my husband. So he told me, "Nayan, the sweetest dreams are the ones that mind cannot fathom, but the heart knows." So that became my another poem. The sweetest dreams are the ones that the mind cannot fathom yet, but the heart had a glimpse of and relishes it in its minuscule bits, which sends a shower of love that creates a rainbow bridge. So wake up and begin the journey to bridge the gap for the child within. And the other aspects to these, which I need to share with you guys, is let me see whether I have it. Should be here. Now I have it up here, but I wanted to share something, but maybe if God is not willing, I will be able to. But They had it. Anyway, what I wanted to show you is this was given to me. My husband is an American. We do live an American lifestyle. He's white, and but he's very traditional. He does wear his everything by Hindu worship. I have a special connection with Venkat Ishvara because I actually in energy encountered him, and so he is my secret crush, so to speak. And um, so I think there is some sort of a connection between Venkateshwara Swamiji and me, and I really don't understand the gist of what it is that I needed to understand. So I was telling my husband, like, hey, how it is important for Swamiji to wear my like forehead and uh, the what is it called, the commitment to follow Hindu tradition and stuff. And I'm not really traditional, but I respect each person has a different point of view and they do it differently. Okay. So then I was asking my husband, how do I? And my husband is like almost like my personal guru. I think God gave me. He's so sweet. I really am so lucky to have a person who's spiritual to be my guide. So it's almost like God hand chose him for me, and I did fall in love in the Hindu temple, Lakshmi temple. So Swamiji was very kind, so he showed me what I needed to have. So what I do, when I went and asked him, I said, my teacher really wants me to wear the traditional Indian way of opening the third eye with turmeric and stuff. So my husband says to me, you know what? He says, there is a way you can incorporate your Hinduism. The reason is, since I work in the hospitals and stuff, my patients, end of life, they get really afraid of. I've seen, like, people get very agitated when in the near dying situation they feel that um, people with, like, culturally different aspects is very scary for them. So I don't want to do something that would hurt my patients, like, transition time. So I make turmeric oil with other essential oils. So I keep it in a little jar like this. And by the way, I work with essential oils and I'm a homeopath too. I am certified in that. So what I do is I essentially follow the religion, but I follow it differently. So I weigh my oils and do everything right, but I might not do it the way it needs validation from the world. So I do it in my own style and it works for me. So I feel I have a very good connection with my teacher. I might, one of the other thing is I also use haritaki as a powder, but sometimes haritaki itself I'll wear, so I traditionally doesn't really need um, to look the way or feel the way others think I am. I'm looking for credibility. But at the same time, I also know I come across different. It's a little challenging. As a physician, I work in mental health. And one of the rules I give is if I expect a certain behavior from my patients, if I don't eat what they eat, I personally don't know how it affects them. So as a mother, I eat what they eat, and try to change inside me my behaviors, my moods, so that I transition that healing to them. So I do not follow traditional Hindu way of living, but in my heart, I use my body as home of God, and I am pure in my conscience. My soul belongs to India, but my body belongs to America. So that's the way I have chosen to live. And Swamiji thankfully, accepted me as I was or as I am. And he said I can be an expansion of him, Kumara and Kumari. So I feel so grateful because in energy, he is on my left side. So when I connect with him, that's the space. And then he allows me to explore and do what I need to do through my right side. And I feel so grateful. He allows me the liberty of doing what I need to do to fulfill my role in this world as a recovery coach. At the same time, spiritually, to accept me where I am and to help me ascend another level. And this is the sweetest moment. And plus, I got validated when I went to India. I know it is very, very important for him to nourish our soul. And my mom gave me the last gift she gave me was this Annapurni, which is the goddess of nourishment. And I feel that I am the eternal nourisher of the soul. I work with those energies. There are five mothers I work with. This is my own yantra. So the middle part with the daughters, that's a secret spot where the Damru meets, and there are five entities: Mahalakshmi, Matangi, Varahi, Vahishwari, and Napurni, and their respective husbands. So traditional thing is to each four corners you place somebody, whoever you want it to be. In the middle is the space you hold who you're working with, and you can rotate them. And same thing with male energy. You can, because male and female in energy, male and female is the same. Because we have left side male, right side female, inner child is in our belly, and our relationship is in the center, the core. So all four aspects is inside us, and the bliss part with Hara center, another Ganja, Vaka chakra, all ultimately is to go to that Vyoma chakra, which helps us ascend to wherever your destination is, like Kailash or whatever you are working at, or whether it's whichever religion, it doesn't matter to me. But your highest Subhakan, pervasive cosmic consciousness, where we need to go. So I feel so grateful to have Paramahamsa Nithyananda as my spiritual guide and teacher and my personal coach, and whatever I want him to be in my life, he shows up. And I am blessed to have him. And he makes this journey so personal that I don't feel I'm walking alone anymore. And so, thank you, Swamiji, for coming into my life, and thank you for being part of this journey. And I love, respect, adore you every day, every breath I take. I hope I fulfill your personal aspirations for me and bring into completion your vision for me in this world and beyond. Thank you. Nityananda Mahasadashi.